Hello folks, this is Matt. I am currently in close to the middle of my work vacation, and I've been on a very big kick lately. It involves, of course, these little Lenovo mini PCs. I've been buying a pile off of eBay. I've been getting them, very reasonable. They're in the, I guess, ordered 10. They don't include memory. That's no problem. I can get 50 sticks of SODIMM 2 gigs for $62 for 50 sticks of 2 gigs each. So that's just $1 a piece, a little over $1 a piece. So the memory didn't include the memory. But from what I saw in the picture, the mini PCs were in excellent condition. I particularly like the old m72 minis because, as you see on this picture, I've just installed a fresh copy of Windows Vista. I have found drivers for integrated graphics for Vista. And of course, let's not forget my favorite operating system of all time, Windows XP. There are drivers for these PCs for Windows XP. You can make a complete retro PC out of these, and they perform very well. I have tested an old version of Null DC for Dreamcast emulation, and they actually do decent. There are some games that they struggle a little bit with, but overall, I played several games that it did very well with. So we're talking about a little, my hand almost covers the whole thing. A little tiny thing, a little tiny footprint. You can do a lot of decent emulation out of these for retro stuff, like I said, up to almost Dreamcast. N64 should do all right. I've done Kega and all that. That's great. Put it on here, run 25% scan lines. You get the, it's so close to an authentic Genesis experience, or a 32X. I've been getting the kick on the Mortal Kombat. I love the 32X version of Mortal Kombat 2. I run the scan lines. I've got the arcade ROM, so it definitely adds some fun to it. But yeah, these are amazing. And I'll tell you why I really found the value in these is because right here, I'm going to show you an example of one of the few only other things in this price point, because you can get I can fully configure, I've calculated everything. I can fully configure one of these with XP and a decent storage laptop drive for around $30 to $32. Excellent value for what these are. I currently am running, because I've done research and I found the CPUs that do support integrated graphics. Now, I can run any Sandy or Ivy in here and it will install XP, of course. I'm not saying that, I can't install it with any particular CPU. I can put any CPU from the Sandy and Ivy Bridge generation in these. Any Xeon in the Sandy and Ivy Bridge generation in these. But most of them do not have integrated graphics support for XP. So it'd be just, like this, right? This is a fresh installed Vista, so there's no drivers currently on it. But I have the CPU that fully supports XP and Vista with integrated graphics, everything, chipset, everything. The i3-2120T. I know, it's the Sandy Bridge i3. I'm very aware of that. But on these operating systems, these are little powerhouses. Not to mention, let me let me back up a little more and tell you something remarkable about these old early Lenovo mini PCs. These things are tanks. I bought a lot of 5 recently, and I did get a little ripped off on them because of the conditions they were in. I mean, this thing was so filthy originally. Now, I got them about 3 days ago. These were so filthy. This one in particular, I took the board out. I washed everything in the shower. Just about everything. Took the RAM out, of course, and I just wiped them off and wiped the CPU and took it out. But I washed that board. I cleaned out the case. It was filthy. It had industrial grime, soot, everything in it. I gave the seller horrible feedback because of the conditions these were in. I mean, this thing was horrible. But as you see, get the blow dryer out, dry out everything after I clean it. It's one of the nicer looking ones now of that lot, although I did get one decent one that I didn't have to spend but 2 minutes cleaning up because it was in decent shape for some miraculous reason. But this one went through all that, dried up. 2 days later, here it is, running. So yeah, these things are tanks, and what people sell just the boards in these for, it's ridiculous. But there are plenty of sellers that are selling these in either bare bones or with 4 gigs of memory, which is perfect for Vista or XP, you know. Again, I already got a lot of, these did have 4 gigs of memory in them, which don't cost much, and then SODIMMs are cheap. But what I was trying to get at is, let's do a comparison. This is what I really wanted to point out. This will absolutely obliterate any of these or any Asus EPCs from these eras that have drivers for Vista and XP. Here's a Zotac. I bought this from the Zotac store. One thing I can say that's useful, the only useful thing I got out of this thing was the power cord, because it will work on these too. That was it. That was the most valuable thing I got. And I mean, it's a neat looking case. I like it. It's got the little blue circle that lights up, and also, yeah, and it's got, it's got these media cards. It's got a few extra little things that maybe even that. It's got HDMI. That's a nice feature. These only have DisplayPort and VGA, which you see I got this hooked up to an old 2005 monitor right now. But anyway, performance-wise, I've got an SSD in this one right now. And this one's got the NVIDIA. This is the one I paid for just bare, I mean, absolute bare bones. It didn't have nothing but, of course, the CPU, the Adams CPU. These come with Adams. These come with Adams. And I have found out firsthand what an Adams like. It is putrid. Absolutely putrid. This is like getting out of a escort station wagon and going to a Ferrari when you compare these two. I mean, it really is. I'm not even exaggerating. Even if I put just a regular mechanical laptop drive in these are much faster than these with I got a little 60 gig SSD in this one right now. It don't help. SSDs generally help these systems out a ton. Oh, SSD is awesome in this. It's hard. You can't even tell you got an SSD in this one. It's just the CPU's just so bad. And this is the better one. This is the one with the NVIDIA. Let's see. No, I take this back. This is the crappy. This is the $17 one, or $19. Came $19 total with tax. This one's real bad, and the one with the NVIDIA chips graphics is not much better. I mean, I can't really tell either one being much better. So the $19, if you get the $19 one, hey, at least you get a $10 value out of the power supply that they include with it, because it will work on these. But yeah, I mean, night and day. This one can barely run Kega Fusion. I mean barely. It's sad. I don't recommend this. This one I've ran 3DO emulation on this and it runs great. It does 3DO very well. Other than a little sound bites that you really have to have pretty decent spec PC to get those sound bite problems out. They're not bad though. It's very playable. 3DO is very, very playable on this. I played Need for Speed on it the other day. The old OG, you know, the one that I was in 1994 at the Electric Avenue and Moore in Anderson, South Carolina. I was, for the first time I experienced that game on a 3DO. That was my first experience with Need for Speed series or anything regarding that series. And I can emulate it very well on this machine right here. And 3DO ain't the easiest thing to emulate. It's, in modern perspective, it is quite easy, but not the easiest. Definitely a tier or two up from Super Nintendo and stuff like that. So this is going to be good for your 3DO, PlayStation, N64, and some Dreamcast. Which, for a machine that costs roughly, you know, the same as even the upper one of these, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good machine for that price point. For what I said, $30, $32 is what I got total in these. Because I've sourced out stuff. You know, the memory's real cheap, and you know the bare bones, the full bare bones. I'm paying $16 a piece for this model right here. I'm getting the 10 of them, and I figured out actually $15 when I calculate it, shipping, everything. It comes out to $15.89 a piece. Okay, that is a remarkable value. Absolute. I would not, and I've tested many operating systems on this. I have tested XP, Vista, 7, and 8.1. I've tried 64-bit version. I've tried 32-bit versions. I've tested out. They all run fine. There is no major hiccups with it or nothing. Like I said, I want to see what the thing has. And I have to say, these are overlooked really bad because they're Sandy Ivy Bridge. I know. They're not going to run Windows 11 great. They're not going to run Windows 10 all that great. But for people like me who can appreciate the good days of Microsoft, definitely the better days of Microsoft. I don't know if there was ever any great days of Microsoft. You know, I've kind of lost hope with that company as a whole. But these are amazing. I'm just going to say, these are the most overlooked little machines. And for the footprint that they take up and what their capabilities, they're amazing. This is probably the best retro mini XP mini PCs you can put together. I mean, we know that these are not known unless you put an adapter, and then even then you gotta deal with it. You gotta buy a card. I'm just talking about just out of the box. Put the components you need to run an operating system, and put the integrated graphics driver on it. These are by far the best ones in that. And anything that can run XP with with the full support, great, absolutely a powerhouse in that world. But anyway, this is Matt signing off.